the news. President Muhammadu Buhari canvasses army neutrality on 2023 polls, wants human rights obligations sustained, says 2023 handover date certain. Rwanda faults misguided approach after Blinken talks for peace and security in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. And the World Athletics named American hurdler Sydney McLaughlin-LEVRONE Female World Athlete of the Year. This is the MLC TV News Hour reaching live from the city of Lokoja, the Confluence State of Nigeria. I am Jane Balagbubu. Good day. Thanks for joining us. The President Muhammadu Buhari has directed the Nigerian Armed Forces to remain apolitical, limiting their operations within the constitutional framework. This is just as he said his handover of power to another elected leader in May 2023 is certain as stipulated in the Nigerian Constitution. He also urged them to refrain from human rights abuses as a way to win the hearts of ordinary Nigerians. These are contained in two separate statements issued by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu. In a statement, President Buhari canvasses army neutrality on 2023 polls, wants human rights obligations sustained. Buhari urged the army to keep improving their human rights obligations in line with global best practices and also pledged that the modernization drive of the Nigerian Armed Forces would be vigorously sustained. Speaking on the 2023 elections, Buhari noted that the army and the armed forces in general must support the civil authority by providing a peaceful environment to enable its successful conduct. He expressed delight that the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahaya, has already issued revised rules of engagement and a code of conduct to guide personnel during the general elections. Meanwhile, in another statement, the President said his handover of power to another elected leader in May 2023 is certain, as stipulated in the Nigerian Constitution. Buhari spoke while hosting the Minister of National Education, Preschool and Sports of the Kingdom of Morocco, Shakib Musa, who visited the State House as special envoy of King Mohammed VI. As part of efforts to restore agriculture back to its enviable status, the Federal Capital Territory Minister of State, Dr. Ramatu Tijani Aliyu, has inaugurated a 12-man Agricultural Development Program Executive Committee to drive the process. This was contained in a statement signed and issued by Austin Elemwe, SA Media to FCT Minister of State, said the minister's commitment was in line with the President Muhammadu Buhari's mandate of lifting about 100 million out of poverty. The FCT administration places high premium on agriculture as a viable tool for ensuring food and nutrition security aimed at reduction of poverty and creation of jobs amongst households in the territory. According to her, the commitment of this administration is to ensure increased productivity in the agricultural sector, and poverty reduction is evident in the initiation of series of viable and sustainable policies and programs aimed at restoring agriculture back to its initial enviable status before the discovery of oil. She said National Agricultural Technology and Innovation Policy (NATIP) is meant to provide a roadmap for the transformation of the agri-food systems in Nigeria. Aliyu stressed that the policy also seeks to meet the needs of women, young people, and people with special needs by consciously incorporating technology and innovation into the agricultural sector, which she said requires engagement of appropriate strategies for effective delivery. The minister noted that in order to ensure greater efficiency in the operations of the Agricultural Development Program, a change of approach and structural transformation has become inevitable. In his acceptance speech on behalf of the committee members, FCTA Permanent Secretary and Chairman of the committee, Olushade Adeshola, noted that the commitment of the FCT Minister of State towards the development of the agricultural sector has led to the inauguration of the committee. While acknowledging that the task before the committee is daunting, he promised that the committee would work assiduously to achieve the attainment of the aims and objectives of the project. Christians have been called upon to prepare themselves for the second coming of Jesus Christ. Elijah Evenemi of the Holy Flock of Christ District 8 Lokoja branch made the call in an interview in Lokoja, Kogi State capital. He said the need for men to change their ill attitude towards others cannot be overemphasized, saying that reward awaits all men on the last day. Our reporter, Joshua Adinoy, has the rest of the story.
The clergyman said, "Life after death is not about religion," stressing the need for all to make their ways right with God. He pointed out that both good and evil deeds will be rewarded on the last day, calling on men to decide their reward while on earth.
Text today is the 1 Thessalonians chapter 4 verse 16 to 18 and 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 verse 1 and 2, set on our preparation, because there will be a command in heaven and the trumpet shall sound and Christ will appear. And those who are dead in Christ will rise up first. And those who are still alive will be caught up together with him in the cloud. So either we are dead, we need to prepare before we pass on to glory, so that when the trumpet shall sound, we'll be able to rise up with him. Though if we are still alive, when the trumpet shall sound, we'll be able to cut up with him in the cloud. But the key thing is that we must be prepared. How prepared are we? More importantly, about we Christians in the world. So the preparation we're talking about for second coming is not only for Christians, all over the world.
At the Global Overcomers family, the senior pastor, Apostle Julius Gabriel Okolo, called on Christians to learn to wait for the promises of God to come to manifestation in their lives, irrespective of the seeming delay.
The only promise of the Father concerning our expectation is that the expectations of the righteous shall not be cut off. So most times the expectations of believers are not in line with the will of God for our lives. Just as kids will desire dangerous gifts, untimely gifts from parents, and every good parent will wait until it is due. That is how at times God waits. But due to unspiritual nature of the believers, they feel God have disappointed them, not knowing that God is actually waiting for the right time for them to be able to handle that particular expectation for their life. So it could be this year, fine. And if it is not this year, the Lord promised that he will make everything beautiful in his own time and not our time. Your own timing as human may be this year, but the timing of God that will make things beautiful is not this year. So my prayer for every believer is the grace and the patience to wait on the timing of God for every of their desire.
The Assistant General Overseer of the Destiny Way Ministries International Churches, Lokoja, Pastor Enojo Ocheja, enjoined the congregation to make Thanksgiving a lifestyle.
A Thanksgiving should be about who God is to us, because God is faithful. God will never change. God will remain the same. Our situations may change. Our circumstances may change. Even we, as human beings, we may change. Our dispositions may change to God. But God will always remain constant. He will always remain faithful. He will always remain true to his word. So for that reason, our thanksgiving should be based on who and what God is to us. When we have this understanding, we will live a life of thanksgiving. Thanksgiving will become an attitude to us.
The service in the various churches featured singing of praises and thanksgiving. Joshua Adinoy, reporting for MLC TV, Lokoja.
Ohi of Okenwe Ehi holds crucial meeting with farmers, Fulanis in the community. The palace of the Ohi of Okenwe Ehi His Royal Highness Ahmed Tijani Mohammed Anaje was filled to the brim during a crucial meeting with farmers and Fulanis who were reportedly destroying farm produce at various farm sites in the community. Ahmed Tijani Mohammed Anaje, while addressing the gathering, said he is saddled with the responsibility of ensuring peace within the domain, hence the need to call for the meeting to find a lasting solution to such trend. The traditional ruler noted that he would not allow his subjects or the Fulanis to be cheated in any way, calling on the Fulanis to take full control of their cows during grazing and prevent them from entering into people's farms. While warning his subjects against taking laws into their hands, the Ohi of Okenwe Ehi promised to remain just in the discharge of his duties. He enjoined his subjects who were affected to remain calm, explaining that compensation plans are on as they will be communicated to at the appropriate time. Spokesperson of the Fulanis at the meeting, Malam Shuaibu, appreciated the Ohi of Okenwe Ehi Anaje for his style of leadership. Shuaibu also commended the traditional ruler for his commitment at organizing the meeting geared towards strengthening synergy and peace between the herders and farmers in the community. The spokesperson promised that the Fulanis in the community will set up a committee in their various halts in the area to enable them organize themselves and keep proper records of the activities. Governor Babagana Umara Zulum was in Boso, a border town in Niger Republic, to visit citizens of Borno State who were displaced by flooding. The citizens were residents of Malam Fatori headquarters of Abadam local government in the northern part of Borno State along the shores of Lake Chad. Malam Fatori is close to Boso in Niger Republic. For years, Nigerians and Nigerians from the border areas often move in and out of the border towns for social, trade and cultural trade purposes. Around 2013 and 2014, many Nigerians from Abadam, Monguno and a number of the 10 local government areas in the northern Borno took refuge in Boso and lived there for 7 years, fleeing from attacks by Boko Haram insurgents on Nigeria's side of the border. As an outcome of Zulum's visits, thousands of refugees returned from Boso and were resettled in their ancestral communities, mostly in northern Borno. A number of them were resettled in Malam Fatori early this year, 2022. Malam Fatori was occupied by Boko Haram since 2014 before it was recovered by the military. The governor addressed the victims, Malam Fatori's residents, taking refuge in Boso. The governor thanked officials of Niger Republic for always welcoming Nigerians from Borno State in hours of distress. The Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke has stated that his government will not abandon any of the initiatives started by the previous administration in the state. Adeleke said this during a visit to the Osun State House of Assembly. The governor also vowed to maintain a cordial relationship with the legislators, saying he would always supply the logistics and apparatus required for the Assembly's successful operation. Earlier, the Speaker, Timothy Oweye, stated that the Assembly would support Adeleke's administration, noting that lawmakers may disagree with the executive based on legal facts, but not for sentimental reasons. We go on a short break. We'll be right back.
Get human interest stories right here on MLC TV with entertainment, sports, business, culture, tourism, and fashion news stories all featured on MLC TV. Not forgetting political and current affairs news, state and federal government and people's matters will be discussed regularly on MLC TV. MLC TV, your one-stop online destination for unbiased, accurate news, entrepreneur ideas, and youth matters to the rest of the world. MLC TV. Reaching everywhere, informing everyone.
Welcome back. Now on politics. The presidential candidates of the All Progressives Congress in the 2023 general elections, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, on Monday took his campaign to London, United Kingdom, where he revealed his plans to rebuild the nation's economy, security and foreign policy if elected as president. Tinubu, who spoke at the Chatham House in London, shared his thoughts during an address Nigeria's 2023 elections, security, economic and foreign policy imperatives. He said the challenges which have manifested themselves with regard to the national and regional development as well as security trajectories are very well known to all: radical extremist violence, terrorism, banditry, kidnapping, human trafficking, trafficking in weapons, trafficking in drugs, climate change and resource-driven conflicts. The APC candidate also reiterated his desire to consolidate the gains of the current administration, especially in the area of agriculture and infrastructure. Tinubu also expressed willingness to engage the private sector actively if he wins the February 25, 2023 presidential election. This came as the presidential candidate of the opposition People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, stormed Lagos and urged Lagosians to change the APC government, which he said had been dominated by one family. The former vice president spoke during the PDP presidential campaign rally held at the Tafawa Balewa Square in Lagos Island. Atiku, who was present with his wife, Titi Abubakar, promised to restructure the country and empower youth with small and medium enterprises if elected president. On his own part, if elected as president, he promised by the grace of God he's going to set aside $10 billion to empower young men and women in SMEs. People asked where he was going to get the money, and he said if he privatizes Port Harcourt, Warri and Kaduna refineries, he's going to get the money. He further promised if voted for the PDP government, they will restructure the country and it is up to the people to hold them responsible. Now on foreign. Ukraine is switching to emergency shutdowns to stabilize its power grid after Russian missile attacks, President Volodymyr Zelensky has said. He said many regions were affected and the local authorities warned that about half of the Kyiv region would remain without electricity in the coming days. Overnight, more missiles hit critical infrastructure and residential houses near the southern city of Zaporizhia, regional officials said. 4 people were killed in an attack. Ukraine is now seeing snow and sub-zero temperatures in many regions, and millions are without electricity and running water. There are fears that a number of people may die of hypothermia. In a separate development, the governor of Russia's Kursk region said a drone attack on an airfield set ablaze an oil storage tank. There were no casualties, said Roman Starovots. He did not say he could be behind the attack in the region that borders Ukraine. In his video address, President Zelensky said 70 Russian missiles were fired and most of them were shot down. The Russian Defense Ministry said it hit all 17 of its intended targets during its massive strike using high-precision weapons. He said the biggest number of shutdowns is in Vinnytsia, Kyiv, Zhytomyr, Dnipropetrovsk, Odessa, Khmelnytsky, and Cherkasy regions, referring to the regions spanning the length and breadth of the country. But he pledged that the authorities would do everything to restore stability. Zelensky said electricity supplies were also affected in neighboring Moldova, providing that Russia's actions were a threat not only to Ukraine but also to the entire region. United States Secretary of State Antony Blinken says he had a productive conversation with Rwandan President Paul Kagame to emphasize the need for peace and security in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. But Rwanda says that despite the good discussion, there are still differences in understanding of the issue. In a statement on Twitter, Foreign Minister Vincent Biruta said a wrong and misguided approach by the international community had made the problem worse. The U.S. urged Rwanda to end its support for the M23 rebel group in DR Congo in line with resolutions made during the talks on the conflict held recently in the Angolan capital. Rwanda, which denies supporting the rebels, said the responsibility ought to be placed on DR Congo, which it described as being shielded from accountability. Fighting between the Congolese military and the M23 has intensified in recent months, displacing close to 400,000 people. Leaders from countries in the region have been holding talks to try to end the violence. Let's join Jonah Malik for the sport update.
Around sports update, the last matches in the round of 16 will be played on Tuesday night with Morocco facing Spain in the first match while Portugal takes on Switzerland. In the matches played on Monday, Brazil delivered an anonymous message to their World Cup rivals with a dazzling display of attacking brilliance to dismantle South Korea by 4-1 and set up a quarterfinal against Croatia. Japan were once again on the verge of World Cup quarterfinal, but Croatia knows and experience got them over the line on Monday. Japan boss Hajime Moriyasu masterminded shock victories over Germany and Spain to top their group, and they pushed the finalists from 4 years ago all the way to penalties. Croatia fell behind to Dazin Meida's opener but equalized in the second half of the game through Ivan Perisic's superb header into the bottom corner. Croatia then went ahead to win by 3-1 on penalties. Still on sports, the World Athletics on Monday named American hurdler Sydney McLaughlin-LeVrone the female World Athlete of the Year, beating Nigerian's Tobi Amusan and 3 others for the prestigious honor. Amusan, Jamaica's Shirley and Fraser Price, Peru's Kimberly Garcia, and Venezuela Yolima Rogers were the other finalists. Swadepo Vulture Mondo Duplantis was also named the Men's World Athlete of the Year, while American teenager sensation Erion Kinton and Serbian javelin thrower Adriana Villagos won the Men and Women's Rising Star Award respectively. The World Athletics announced the American 400-meter hurdle Olympics and world champion and world record holder as the winner on its website. A boxer has died in the ongoing National Sports Festival in Asaba, Delta State capital. The boxer Chukwuemeka Igweanugo, who was representing Imo, died after losing a fight in a knockout with Prince Gabi Amago from Anambra in the 86 kg category. Pascal received a punch in the chin and the referee had to stop the fight when he failed to recover. He was immediately taken out of the ring for medical treatment before being rushed to the hospital where he was confirmed dead, a boxer official who spoke on the condition of anonymity to journalists. And that's sports update on MLC TV News. I am Malik Jonah reporting. Back to Akasta for more stories.
Thank you, Jonah, for the updates. And over to Matthias Ayodiji Peter for the entertainment news.
On our entertainment news, the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission has arrested singer Oladapo Oyebanji alias The Bunch. Premium Times reported. He was arrested and detained after ICPC operatives closed down on him, forcing him to surrender himself at the agency's headquarters in Abuja. It was reported that The Bunch had dodged summons for weeks, claiming to be overseas for scheduled concerts each time he was invited to appear for interrogation over fraud allegations. He is accused of fraudulently diverting hundreds of millions naira earmarked by the Nigerian government for Empower Project, an empowerment program set up by the Nigerian government in 2016 to address youth unemployment and increase social development. Investigators allege that The Bunch colluded with some compromised government officials to introduce ghost beneficiaries into the payroll of the scheme. The stipend paid to those beneficiaries are then paid to accounts that have now allegedly been leaked to the pop star. After the musician failed to show up for interrogation despite multiple invitations, the ICPC moved to arrest him anywhere in Nigeria and abroad, forcing him to show up at the commission's office. On arrival, the bench was subjected to a prolonged interrogation sessions, after which he was detained. His plea for administrative bail was rejected by officials who said the musician could not be trusted to attend his trial if released on bail. Popular Nigerian actor Ike Ogbonna has dropped nuggets for everyone on how to treat their parents. The movie star and father of two shared a post on his Instagram story where he admonished everyone to always respect and honor their parents. In the same post, Ogbonna gave his reasons. He noted that some parents are not where they are meant to be because they sacrificed their personal growth for their children. As a final note, the actor also said that it is time to reward them back for their good deeds. Ogbonna is a model, director, actor, and television personality from Nigeria. He rose to prominence after being chosen for the 2005 Amstel Malta box office TV show and has a long history of modeling. Still on our entertainment news from Africa, Alula Okposu, the daughter of the late gospel singer Sammy Okposu, has finally spoken up about her father's death. The 51-year-old musician passed away in his sleep on November 25, 2022. Alula mourned her father in an Instagram post, her first public comment since he passed away. In her words, the passing of her father made her feel blank, but the thought that her father is resting calms her down. The family had earlier released the details of Okposu's final rites as the singer would be laid to rest at a private ceremony on December 15. Okposu's death has continued to gather reactions, with fans and friends paying tribute to him. And that is all on entertainment news. My name is Matthias Ayodeji Peter, reporting for MLC TV.
Thank you, Matthias, for the entertainment update. And that is the size of our package today. Join us tomorrow at the same hour to watch our news as we give you updates on happenings within and across the globe. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, MLC TV, like and follow our Facebook page, MLC TV, Instagram, MLC TV 2021, and Twitter at MLC TV1. For your events, coverage, information, contribution, advert, and sponsorship, please call any of our numbers displayed on your screen. Join us Fridays and Saturdays to watch our special programs. It is MLC TV, reaching everywhere, informing everyone. I am Jane Balagbubu. Please continue to be your brother's keeper to build a united and peaceful society together. Good day, and thanks for watching.